First at 6, a brand new court order forcing Fulton County's embattled DA to answer questions about her love life.
District Attorney Fani Willis is leading the charge against Donald Trump and his allies. And she's accused of having a romantic partnership with a fellow prosecutor. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight outside the Cobb County Courthouse.
Doug, DA Willis is facing pressure on every single side.
Right, guys, you could say it's been a week of highs and lows for Fani Willis. First, she narrowly avoided having to testify in the divorce case of the man she's accused of being in a relationship with, and also hiring to be the special prosecutor on this case, Nathan Wade. So that will not happen for now. Now, Fani Willis's problems have shifted to Fulton County, where there is a subpoena for her to testify later next month. Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade and District Attorney Fani Willis will be on unfamiliar sides of the courtroom on February 15th when they take the stand to answer questions about a secret relationship the two shared while prosecuting Georgia's historic election indictment. Their testimony was forced by a subpoena filed by defendant Michael Roman, a former Trump campaign official whose legal team made the initial allegations about Wade and Willis. The testimony will answer some burning questions about how Wade was hired and paid by Willis and the timeline and the extent of their relationship. But a break for the pair came on Tuesday night in Cobb County, where Wade's divorce case is being handled. Willis may have had to testify in that case as well, but an abrupt and temporary divorce settlement one day before a key hearing spared her from that, at least for now. Divorce attorney Randy Kessler has been practicing family law for 35 years. He said dodging a deposition was a huge win for both Wade and Willis.
There's less of an avenue to bring damaging information into the Fulton County Court than there was as of yesterday, when we all thought Nathan Wade's deposition and maybe Fani Willis's deposition were imminent.
But the settlement, devoid of key information because it was reached out of court, is only temporary, and Willis may still find herself in a position to have to testify in Cobb County.
Fani Willis could have been issued a protective order saying she does not have to testify. That didn't happen. The case could have been settled and done and sealed. That didn't happen. All this is a temporary.
Right, and also today, Roman, who was the one who made these initial accusations and filed the subpoena, also sued Fani Willis civilly, saying that she has failed to comply with requests for documents that he says are crucial to his defense. Now, we did hear from Willis on this actually before the lawsuit and the court filing last month where these accusations were made. She said she has complied with every request for documents that is within her right to do so. We're outside the Cobb County Superior Court tonight. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.